Hi, it's me and Brian again.
Hello.
Sorry, I'm waiting for this burp to come up, everyone. It's not going to come. It'll come, it'll come midway through. So here we are again. This is our not follow-up video, but this is another video that Brian and I would like to talk to travelers out there about, because we both came to the same conclusion at different times, but yes, it's very important. So we're here in Japan, and I wanted to talk about, how do I say this? Western ideas of Western entitlement. And I'll start this out with a story.
As tourists.
As tourists, yes. So I'll start this out with an example. Brian and I were with a National Geographic tour, which, by the way, I highly recommend 1,000%.
Nat Geo Adventures tours, they're awesome.
Yes, it is on. I would say it's a little more expensive. However, I do think you definitely get an authentic experience. I really do. I feel like it's very fluid. Like, there haven't been any blips. Like, the travel guy or our guide knows what he's talking about. He knows he's working very closely with, locals who know what they're talking about. So, and they take you to like some really nice places. I think nothing is worse when you think you're going to get an authentic experience and there is no one in the restaurant who remotely looks like the ethnic group that they are portraying. You go in a Vietnamese restaurant and there's like a hipster in the background, a white hipster in the restaurant. Not that they can't cook. But anyways, moving on. So we're with this tour group, and everyone, I would say Brian and I are the youngest in the group, and everyone's
That is true.
middle age. No, like, I don't know what, 50s, 60s,
there's
retired.
one other person in our age group, and then everyone else is like
Retired.
late middle age to retire to retirement age.
Yes. Varying all over from the U.S. and the U.K.
And China.
and China. But they've been, I don't know. Yeah, so. Yes. Okay. So just to give you kind of like a little bit of a demographic about who we're traveling with. So the story goes like this. We were in Tanabe City. It's a very, not rustic, rural, beautiful, like it's just so nice. And so our travel guide, who was working in conjunction with another like local Buddhist monk, was showing us around this area. And like it's just scattered with like, just nice little country homes with nice little country people who are just minding their own business. And we're walking through their, like, I'm going to call it village, because we had to walk through the village to get to our like hostel area.
Walk through the town. It was a nice
We walked through the town. It was a really nice town, just absolutely gorgeous. And so we're walking through this town as a group. And like there were two situations where like one member of our group like went into someone's house. Like it was just, I don't know if it was was it like a wood shop or like this.
He had this building next to his house. It had a sign that said it was a wood shop, but the person that owned that shop or lived in that house wasn't there.
No one was there. However, like this particular group member felt the need to like just walk in, didn't make an announcement, like just straight up just walked in and took pictures. And it was just, yeah, like that was what that happened. And then on the same, like literally in the same, like the same breath, there was another woman, maybe like right across the street from this gentleman's house, who was like in her own yard making a brew. I think she was making like, she had tea leaves and she was making like, she was doing her thing in her own house, and our group walked by and she just kind of said like, oh, I'm making ocha. This group bombarded this lady without even like getting her permission. They were like taking pictures with her and, taking pictures of like her house and what she was doing, and like,
and they started doing that before she even said what she was doing.
Yes. And
like while she was just doing, she was just in the zone doing, making tea leaves. and somebody from our group immediately went straight up to her to see what she was doing, and tried to ask and figure out what she was doing, and then everybody else kind of followed and kind of ended up huddling around her.
Yes. So it was just like a big mob scene, and like Brian and I were pretty much the only ones standing back, and we both felt some type of way about it because we're just like, I don't feel like every situation. One, I don't feel like I don't care where you're at in the world. You should never just like walk up in someone's house completely unannounced. And like Brian was saying earlier, like we don't even speak the same language. So what exactly were you going to say if someone was in the house? You just walk into their house and you're just going to be like standing there taking pictures? Like it's so weird, like so awkward. And then like with this poor lady, like again, like they didn't ask the local guide if it was okay, through her. Like they didn't say like, is it okay if we, like that never happened. They just kind of like, and that's how like this trip has kind of been in different situations. Like there are certain times where I feel like pictures are appropriate, but I'm very careful not to make it seem like the people, I don't want to make a spectacle out of the people. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Like I don't feel like they should be like here for our entertainment. Like I just feel like, don't get me wrong, like I think it is very cool to see women walking down the street of Tokyo or Kyoto in traditional Japanese garb, but I'm not gonna like make them take a picture with me just because I want a picture, if that makes any sense. And I feel like that's kind of like one of the many things that's kind of bothered me this whole trip. And there's been several other like things where like, because it's Japan and everyone speaks Japanese, like for instance, the other night when we were in the elevator and like every floor they announce what floor they're in Japanese. And so we were in one of our group members was in the elevator with us, and she was like mimicking, and not in like a good way, the elevator, like she was making almost like she was making kind of mocking Japanese, and I kind of was like,
right,
like I don't understand this, like I don't, you're like these are seasoned travelers, like they aren't, like I just feel like at a certain point like people should be more respectful. And I feel like people feel like, I'm going to say because I'm a Western, and I feel like this is my opinion, I feel like there's a lot of Westerners who have this sense of privilege and entitlement that they feel like they can act anyway in any country that they're in. And I just feel like that's so like, stop it. Like I just don't know what, I just don't even know what to say. And then the third story was like the other night, last night, the whole group went, every night we go to dinner together, which is fine, but I feel bad for the travel guy because I feel like it's an absolute, he handles it very well, but I can see how in any other situation going out to dinner with 15, 16 complete strangers can be a nightmare, because everyone is like not barking, but you could tell there's like this sense of like, there was one waitress for 16 people, right?
Yeah.
There was one waitress for 16 people, and they're all like, oh, I want this. Can I have a bottle of wine, but can I have 4 glasses so I can split it around? And it was just like, there was a lot of complication, and it was just, I wish people would just like tone it down. Like another situation was like someone asked for like another pair of chopsticks because one pair was being used to like, I guess, flip raw food. And you could like, when she asked through our guide, you could tell that the waitress, she didn't like have it, it wasn't obvious, but you could kind of tell there was almost like a sense of hesitation, which I wouldn't be surprised if it was like annoyance that someone was asking for another pair of chopsticks. To which our tour guide kind of smoothed it over, and he was like, just so you know, next time we just use the other side of the chopsticks if we're going to be cooking, like with raw beef. And it's just like, I just wish people would just not like turn down. Like, I don't even know how to explain it. Like, you're in another country, they're going to do things differently. You just need to adapt accordingly. Like, I'm just so annoyed sometimes with like, and again, maybe someone else could speak out about it, but I feel like I definitely see that among Western travelers. Brian and I were talking about that when we saw it in Australia. Like, it was the same type of like entitlement, everything needs to evolve around me attitude.
There were mostly older people on that trip too.
Yes. So it's like I don't know if people are just like set in their ways and they're just used to having because these people are fluent. These are let's be honest. These people have come from money. They're used to certain things a certain way, and it's like they can't adjust to anything outside. And I'm not like that. Like this is just I don't know. It baffles me sometimes that you can be so well traveled and still be like this closed minded. That's the best way. You agree? Like
Yeah, I mean, yeah. And there was another incident too, because like you said, we have our own tour guide who guides all of our activities every single day, and then we've had, local guides which help, for certain activities depending on what the activity is or what city we're in. And one of the local guys we had for a few days was, a great guy who we called Shusan, and somebody, made a joke about how he pronounced the word climb, the English word climb, because Japanese, they don't typically have an L sound in their native language, so it can be hard for them, if they didn't grow up speaking English to pronounce the natural L sound. And I just thought Shusan was awesome, by the way. And given
he's a Buddhist monk,
and given all the time and effort he did to teach us about Buddhism and the path he was showing us that we were walking on to go on this Shinto Buddhist pilgrimage. I just thought it was very disrespectful and rude to make fun of how he spoke English. And I also want to make it clear that like we don't think any of our like traveling mates are bad people. It's just like these are just some bad habits and bad tendencies that have shown up like intermittently on this trip. And somebody even made fun of how our own like daily tour guide was trying to order ice cream for him.
Yeah.
Which was just like it's not that funny.
It wasn't, and it just makes me so mad. Like.
Right.
It's not. So if you're even listening to this, if you travel a lot, just like, again, just don't turn down when you're in another country. And what I mean by that is like stop. And this doesn't go for everybody, but just think about like what you say, what jokes you make, because they don't like what. I don't know how to explain it. Like, first of all, what you may find funny, the other person may not. Number two, jokes don't translate well. Don't tell the same joke, especially if you know the other person's not receiving it. Like, stop telling it, because I've seen that too.
There's a language/cultural barrier.
Yeah, and number three, it's just like, just don't. I don't know. Like, I just feel like I'm just super conscientious about not offending people, especially when this is not, an area that I'm familiar with. Like, I just feel like people are too comfortable, if that makes any sense. Like, people are just too comfortable just acting how they normally do on a vacation. And yes, it is your vacation, and yes, you should have fun, but at the same time, I think we all need to be respectful and not just, every single day, people take pictures of like so much stuff that I wouldn't even, like, I feel like there's a time and place for pictures, but like if there's 10,000 signs that say, this is a Buddhist, temple, do not take pictures inside the temple, and you still take a picture, like, I don't, like, these signs, like, it happened today, like, it's just like, I don't understand what, are you just not listening? You just have to get the best picture. So, I just had to make that, because, this is just one, like, Japan is, I've seen it here, but like I said, Brian and I have seen it many other places that we've been, even, like, when we were in Australia, when we went to that, God, it's not luau. Oh my God, that sounds so.
Talking about Kangaroo Island?
No, we were in New Zealand.
Oh.
And
yeah,
there was like
that dinner.
It was a Maori dinner, yeah. And like there were so many people, because they were actually, not only were they making dinner for us, but they actually were displaying like
a lot of their traditional
dances. Yeah. And like there was one part where they actually had to like manually like
down a stream in a boat, paddle rowing.
All the Americans were complaining like, like, why do we have to wait so long? Like, what's taking them so long? And like rowing a boat is not easy. Like, I don't.
Right. And they had to change clothes too, out of like what we would consider like modern clothes and into more traditional Maori garb. For our learning and also our entertainment.
And they were complaining about dinner. Like, it was just like, oh, well, like, I feel like this lamb is too dry. I know. And it was just like, Brian's like, exactly right. Like, why do you feel like you're entitled to a complaint? Like, why do you feel like you have to complain about, like, everything? I feel like that's such, I don't know. I don't want to say it's an American mindset. These two girls happen to be American, by the way.
Yeah.
But it's just like such a, like, why do you feel like everyone should adhere to your, like, requests, your complaints,
expectations.
or expectation, yeah, like
And
your
maybe,
expectations,
you know,
yeah, like
maybe saying it's Western American is unfair. Maybe it's more of a tourist kind of mindset. You know, because people can't get out of, you know, their own like culture and comfort zone. And you know, really, you know, we should just be empathetic with the people and the culture and the country that we're in, and you know, try to think about them and be respectful of them, understanding of them as well.
I'm just shaking my head because I'm just reminiscing over like there's so many times where people are just so entitled. We were in, I'm not gonna, this video is gonna end very soon, but like, yeah, I think every country I've been to, I was just thinking about a time in Jamaica where like I just was embarrassed to be I was embarrassed to be American because the Americans that were there were acting so out of control and so terrible. I'm like, God, this is what people are gonna think. You know.
And they weren't young either. They weren't like young college students.
They were.
They were older than us. They were parents, and you know.
It's embarrassing. It's just one of the things where I was like, damn, I hope they don't think all Americans are like this, because they were just, yeah, it was bad. So if you listen to this long ass video, if you have any of your own like similar travel experiences, or you know, anything where you felt some type of way about this video, maybe you're one of those people who wants 3 sets of chopsticks for each piece of vegetable. I don't know. Please don't do that. That's so annoying. But if you feel some type of way, just comment. And yeah, me and Brian are gonna go walk around Kyoto or find something to do now that I feel a little bit better. And we'll talk to you guys later. Okay, bye.